Welcome back everyone, where I monetize here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the price of Bitcoin, going over how Bitcoin dropped $1,500 in just 1 hour and how the CPI numbers have affected the price in the short term. So as you can see here, this was basically the hour where the CPI numbers were announced, and you can see a high of Bitcoin at 22,800 and a low of 21,318. So Bitcoin dropped nearly $1,500 in an hour period of time. So the CPI numbers came in today. Basically, the numbers that came out today reflect the month of August. So inflation is currently at 8.3% for the year, which is higher than expected. And so I haven't even looked at traditional markets yet, but as you can see, Bitcoin is down over 5% today, Ethereum down over 6%. And I would take a guess that traditional markets are down as well, and that is correct. So you can see this major gap down here on SPY. Let's see, yesterday it was about 410, and you could see here 399, the low of this hourly opening candle. So all markets probably, taking a hit today. I would guess marijuana stocks are down as well, and yes, that is correct. We have till rate at 337, and across the board, things are just very red today because of those higher than expected CPI numbers. So I want to go ahead and take a look back at Bitcoin here, and let's go ahead and take a look at this daily chart. So these blue arrows, which I've had on my chart for a while here, they represent the day that the numbers come out for CPI numbers. This here needs to get pointed down. Well, it's just a marker. I'm not going to worry about that arrow now, but as you can see here, this is a daily chart, and you can see how the CPI numbers have affected the price. So in many scenarios, this is back in January, Bitcoin fell for quite a few days after that. Same thing here. Most of the time, the CPI numbers have not positively impacted Bitcoin. So you could see here that when the numbers were announced in August, we had a few days of room to the upside, and then Bitcoin fell pretty significantly after that. That was when Bitcoin ran up to about $25,000. And in today's video, I'm also going to be going over if I have bought in and if I think now is the time to buy back in. So you can see here, I think it was a combination of CPI numbers as well as this moving average that kind of knocked down Bitcoin. So we're kind of seeing a similar situation here with this moving average, right? Bitcoin kind of toying around that level. This is a really key level for Bitcoin. If we can get over that moving average, I think we could see it potentially run up to about $28,000, $29,000. But in my opinion, I still don't believe that the bottom is in. I do believe that we have more room to the downside. So what am I anticipating? Well, I'm anticipating probably a bit of a pullback here, but it could recover quickly. So I think what we saw here on the day that it got announced back in August, it fell for the day, but then Bitcoin rallied a little bit after that. So something similar could happen. In my opinion, I think it's pretty simple when timing to get back into Bitcoin. And what I'm going to be telling you, I mentioned in many of my previous videos, I still think this is going to be true, and you're not going to catch the bottom, but you're going to put yourself in a pretty good buying opportunity. This right here is a weekly chart on Bitcoin. If you look back at the history of Bitcoin and you purchase Bitcoin every time the green moving average crossed over the red, and you sold on the flip side when the green started crossing below the red, you would have made massive profit, had very few trades, and wouldn't have to look at the chart very much over the years to make massive profit. So this right here is a weekly chart. What are we seeing? We're seeing that the green moving average is getting closer to the red, but we would still need quite a few weeks of upside for that to probably happen. Okay, so we are currently 45 weeks out from the high of Bitcoin, which is actually kind of crazy that it's been a year since the all-time high of about $70,000. But what I want to show you is this. Let's go ahead and scroll back to the last time the Bitcoin hit the all-time high of 20,000 and when the massive buying opportunity came in. So just giving you an example, this right here is 45 weeks from the all-time high of $20,000. And we're kind of seeing similar price action where, this green moving average is getting somewhere close to the red, but I am still anticipating this. I am still anticipating one last very dramatic drop, okay? So let's say, for example, that we are in this range here, all right? And Bitcoin still fell 50%, okay? 50%. So that is still a possibility and on the table. As you could see here, like I just mentioned, that green moving average crossing over the red, it happened over here at about $4,000 for Bitcoin. So you wouldn't have caught exactly the bottom of about 3,200, but you would have basically immediately been in the profit. You wouldn't have been holding a position for very long that wasn't in the profit. And then Bitcoin saw, I think this is like a 250 to 300% jump. And that happened. So when the moving average crossed over, that was on March 26th. And then that high came in over here on June 25th. So I am still anticipating something very similar to happen on Bitcoin. I think that we still have more room to the downside. See, when Bitcoin fell to 17,500, I did not like the price action off of 17,500. It felt extremely, extremely weak. So I'm looking for a much stronger move off of the bottom. But essentially, this is what I'm waiting for right here. I am looking for that opportunity where that green crosses over the red. Very, very simple thing to do. So if you want to input that on your chart, let's see, the green one here is a 5 moving out, EMA, 5 EMA. If you want to incorporate this, and this one is a 12. The red is a 12. So if you want to put those on your TradingView chart and just keep an eye on it. And like I said, you can go back through the history of Bitcoin and see that was really great times to get in and out of Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at lower level time frames on Bitcoin. So like I said, this is the weekly. I'm not super convinced here. We're seeing some major resistance around these moving averages. Bitcoin obviously had a few days of strength, but is essentially feeling closer to the weaker side after that big $1,500 drop. We could see more room to the upside after I saw this green moving average crossing over the red. You can kind of take the same concept from the weekly chart, but it definitely isn't as consistent on the daily. I prefer it much more on the weekly chart. This is a 12-hour chart here. We saw this 9 here. I would expect some more pullback, and as you could see, a lot of resistance from those moving averages. So this is a 4-hour chart here, pulling back a little bit. And yeah, I'm just pretty curious to see Bitcoin currently sitting at 21,200, seeing how it responds for the rest of the day. The hourly chart was looking extremely strong, but now as Bitcoin has made that massive drop, it's looking rather weak. So 30-minute chart looking weak as well. Let's go ahead and look at the 5-minute here on Bitcoin. Not really showing us any opportunities here for a momentum shift. Let's go and take a look at Ethereum. And I want to look at Ethereum on the weekly chart as well and see how it compares to Bitcoin. So as we can see here, wow, this was extremely, extremely close, right? Of this green moving average crossing over the red. So close, but as you can see, didn't quite get it. And that was not an opportunity to get in on Ethereum. But what I do think I want to do is I'm going to keep a closer eye here on the weekly chart on Ethereum, because it could lead the way. It might cross over before Bitcoin does. So let's go ahead, let's go and make a comparison and see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and back up to when Bitcoin, like the previous market cycle. Okay, so Bitcoin, it hit its $20,000, it pulled back. This buying opportunity that, like I said, it's not going to be catching the bottom, but right here, the crossover came in on March 26th of 19. Let's go ahead and see on Ethereum when it happened for Ethereum. And I say this because Ethereum could potentially give us some clues on the buying opportunity to get in. So let's see here. It came in pretty much at the same time, it looks like, the week of March 26th. So the charts did look significantly the same. So they might just cross over right around the same time, but I think it's important to definitely keep an eye on both. So I am still patiently waiting. I've been patiently waiting for months now to get back in on Bitcoin. I'm not really interested in getting into any other coins. I'm going to be taking all the cash that I have and pretty much going in on Bitcoin because I think that is going to be just over the years, like every market cycle makes me more and more of a maxi. So that's pretty much it. And if you guys want to get started with a Roth IRA, Bitcoin Roth IRA, iTrust Capital is a really great way to do that. So I'll go ahead and put a link down below if you want to get started today. And so that is all that I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.